Hi, in the last part we expanded our McCoy facility, went out on runs for supplies and food, and had to fight a considerable amount of zombies. Before we start the video, I just want to mention that we have a Discord server you can join. We mostly just chill and hang out from time to time. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, it would do me a lot. Thanks. Now enjoy the video. After the grueling fight to preserve our base, we licked our wounds, cleared the area of any zombies, and went out to boost our foraging skills. During this time, I realized one crucial mistake when it comes to farming. Once our crops become seed-bearing, it means the crops are nearing their shelf life and are close to rotting. So I had to harvest them as soon as possible. Yes, I won't be able to eat not even 1/3 of the harvest, but it can all be put in as compost, so my newer crops can grow faster. Anyways, the generator was in need of fuel, so I drove with my heavy-duty vehicle to the gas station just down south of Muldra. Since the electricity was finally out, I had to grab the generator to make the gas pumps work. After killing a number of zombies that infested the place, we safely got the fuel and returned back to our base. The next day, I replanted our crops, collected our traps, harvested some food, and went out to the road to Muldra to kill some zombies for combat skill. After an exhausting combat day, the next day, I went out to cut down trees. And this is the end of the first segment of this video. After our break, I went to finally finish building the wooden wall. After our first encounter in March Ridge's dormitory, I returned and was eager to return back with a bunch of items, since now I possess a much larger capacity wielding vehicle. I snuck in, finding plenty of ammo, an M16 assault rifle. I tried my best to stay quiet to not alert any hordes on the ground, but it took a really long while to scour this whole place, and I didn't even try to go even higher since my capacity carrying stuff started to really decrease. I decided to use these guns as target practice to the zombies. So I went outside shooting and killing any zombie that I come across. I eventually decided to leave March Ridge, and while looking on the map, I came across a military mobile home facility just not far from where I was. The drive was rather long and confusing, but once I reached the spot, I was immediately swarmed by a large amount of zombies from all sides. I did not want to take too many risks, and plus it was really dark outside, so I kept my distance and saved my exertion as much as I could. After fighting throughout the night, I came across a home, which I fortified as much as possible. The next day, I went to my ultimate prize, but I was opening windows to enter rooms, and one of the alarms went off, waking up a gigantic horde from all around. I had no choice but to run south. Abandoning my vehicle, I came across another abandoned home, which took a while of clearing since I was very exerted, but eventually I fought my way to safety. And this concludes the second segment of this video. Sadly, I deleted my shorter recordings, so I was not able to show you guys how I returned. But from memory, it was rather smooth and nothing out of the ordinary. When I was back at my base, nothing really was out of the ordinary really happened. I killed any stragglers nearby, exercised, farmed, etc. After I went out to the McCoy parking lot to practice mechanics and some old stuff, and put some old stuff for my truck, I then went to drive around looking for an antique oven. I feared winter was nearing, and I did not possess any source of heat yet. I scoured through multiple places, including the large warehouse, until I finally found out that the antique oven can be found in one of the homes that looks more primitive in Muldra. These types of homes are called hunting lodges or whatever. Anyways, after clearing my way, I got my hands on the oven and returned back home. This concludes the third segment of this video. After a few day break from Zomboid, we returned once again. I decided to take a car and drive back to Muldra, but it broke down. I spent the entire night escaping a big number of hordes all around me until I caught my breath and continued to venture around the town. After some scavenging, I discovered another truck that was in good shape. I then returned to my base, preparing to come back to the same place to retrieve the truck. After stopping by at a food store, I discovered the same exact truck, just like my old truck, but in a much more secluded place. But I cannot leave because I placed most of my stuff like guns in the other van, so I had to retrieve them, but it wasn't hard. I then came back and returned back to the base, so now I possess 2 trucks. I make one last drive to the gas station to get even more gasoline for my grand trip, which you're about to find out in a second. I drive back to the base and prepare. What am I planning on doing is to drive to the outskirts of Louisville, which has a military checkpoint. That military checkpoint has a large amount of guns and ammo which I can use for zombie clearing, not to mention a buttload of medical and military supplies. What I am worried is not the zombie clearing, but if my vehicle is gonna last. Every bump with a car you do to a zombie, every time you run over one of the bodies or anything, the overall condition of the vehicle drops. This is why you need to constantly repair your vehicles to ensure their usefulness. Anyways, enjoy the rest of this video.